Hey, my name is Chandler. In this video, we're going to look at how to set up a Keyence IV3 camera. So to get started, you're going to need a couple different things. You're going to need the Keyence camera itself. So in this case, I have the Keyence IV3 500CA. You can use different models and these instructions will still hold up. Although as I'm going through them, I'll flag different places where you might need something slightly different. So we got the camera. Next thing, we have a PoE injector. So this is going to provide power to the Keyence camera. Now because I'm testing, I'm going to be using a PoE injector like this. Although in an industrial setting, you might need something slightly different. So I have the PoE injector. Next up, I have an 8-pin M12 Ethernet cable. So depending on the Keyence camera that you have, you might need a slightly different cable. And so it's worth looking at either the datasheet or the place where you purchase the camera from before you go ahead and purchase an Ethernet cable. So we got this. We also have a second Ethernet cable. So this is a regular Ethernet cable. And this is going to be required for the PoE injector. One more thing to call out. Actually, let me do this. All right. So you're also going to need a Windows laptop. For me, I have a Windows 11 laptop. And then what I was going to say is you might also need an adapter like this. And that's going to be required to give you an Ethernet port on your laptop if you don't already have one. So that's everything that you're going to need to get started. So now we can go ahead and take a look at the setup. So we got all the components now. So what I'm going to do is plug in everything together. So I have the laptop. I'm going to take this adapter, which has got the Ethernet port on it. It's a USB-C to Ethernet. I'm going to plug that into the laptop. Boom. All right, so now it's connected. Next thing I'll do is I'm going to take the Ethernet cable that looks like this with these endings. I'm going to plug that into the Ethernet port on my adapter. All right. So next thing, we can go ahead and grab our PoE injector. This guy's got, let's see here, two different ports on it. A little hard to see, but basically it's got two different ports on it. One is input and one is output. One is data coming in, and then one is data coming out with power as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this, oops, there we go. I'm going to plug this into the input, meaning that it's not going to have power on it. And then we can grab our second Ethernet cable, and I'm going to take this ending here. I'm going to plug that also into the PoE injector in the output port. Cool. So next thing I can do, that sliding away. There we go. All right. So now I can take the M12 ending of this Ethernet cable. I'm going to plug it into the Keyence camera. All right. So we're going to be looking at this port here and this connector like this. And when you actually look at it, you can see that one of the quarters of this connector is notched. And so you're going to make sure that you got it lined up correct. So for me, it's going to look like this. I'm going to plug that in, and then I got to twist it. So that's all set. So I'm going to put that to the side. Let's see. There we go. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in power to the PoE injector. So I've got AC in on this side, 3-prong on this side. I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the PoE injector. All right, let me wrangle everything here. Cool. So now that that's plugged in, I'm going to go ahead and open up the laptop, and I'll plug in this AC adapter here, and then we can see what happens. So I plugged in the PoE injector. You see the light is now on. And we can also see that we got the light on the Keyence camera now flashing. So what I'm going to do to simulate it actually booting up here is I'm going to unplug it. Okay, so I unplugged it. It's now off. And I'll plug it back in. Okay, so I plugged it back in. We see there's a light on the Keyence camera. And then we're going to give it a minute. So if this is your first time booting Keyence camera, it might look a little bit different. For me, I've already set up this Keyence camera, and so the lights that I'm seeing are slightly different, but we can just see there that everything's working. We have lights that are going on in the Keyence camera, and we got lights on this front side as well. So that's that. Now what we'll do is move over to the laptop and work through the process of installing the Keyence Navigator software. So we're now on my Windows laptop. First thing that we're going to do is open up a browser. Let's go and do that. Now we're going to type in download Keyence IV3 Navigator. I'm going to scroll down here. All right. Now we're going to click on this link, IV3 software, IV3H1, and I'll click on that. Then I'm going to scroll down on this page. We'll click on software. Now I'll scroll down again, and on this IV3 Navigator, IV3H1 software, we're going to click download. Now on this page, we'll click continue. Now for me, I got taken straight to this page, although for you, you might have gotten stopped with some sort of a page that says, please input your Keyence camera serial number. So if that's the case, you can go on the back of the camera and the serial number should be there. You can enter that in and then you should get taken to this page here. So I'll click download. Now it's going to take a minute. So now that this is downloaded, I'm going to click open file. Now we can click extract all, and we're going to choose the destination for that. So for me, downloads folder is fine. Cool, so now that that's done, we're going to double click on this. Then we're going to go to IV3 Navigator, and then we're going to click on this one here. So there's also a setup application, although the one that we want is this Windows installer application, the IV3 Navigator. So I'll double click on that, and this will open. Click next, accept, next, install. And hit finish. Perfect. So I'll close out of all of these now. And if I type in IV3, you can see the application was now installed. So I'd enter. And here we are. So we're now in the application. The next thing that we need to do is connect the camera to the software. Now, before we can do this though, we have one more step. So what we're gonna have to do is go to the control panel, like this. You're then gonna click here, and you're gonna click on all control panel items. You're gonna scroll down, go to Windows Defender Firewall. Then you're gonna click this one. You're gonna go to change settings and allow another app. You go here, click browse, and you're gonna click on the IV3 Navigator software. So I'll hit open, and I'll hit add. All right, so for me, this one actually already exists, so I'm gonna hit OK, and hit cancel. Now I'm gonna scroll down to the IV3 Navigator software. Let's see here. And here we go. So what you need to do here is just make sure that private, public, and if you have a domain, are all enabled. So hit OK. Now it's done. All right, now we're going to go back to all control panel items. We're going to scroll down. We're going to go to network and sharing, click on change adapter settings. Now you're going to click on Ethernet, click on properties. Here, you can click on Internet Protocol version 4, click on properties again. And now that we're on this page, so you might have it set to obtain an IP address automatically. So you're going to want to switch that over to use the following IP address and configure both a static IP address and a subnet mask. So in my case, I chose these values. I'm gonna hit OK, close out of these. Cool, so now we're back in the software. I'm gonna hit connect. So now you can enter in an IP address that's on the subnet that you chose. So for me, this is a value that satisfies that. I'm gonna click on search sensor. All right, now I'm gonna click connect. Cool, we're in now. So we can see there's a whole bunch of different options, so I'll walk us through all of them. First off, the two most important buttons, we have run and program. So when you're in run mode, that's going to be running a program that you created. And then program, this one's going to be to configure the Keyence camera and to create new programs. So for me, I have prog 0 selected. And what I'm going to do is actually let's do this, I lied. We're going to do program 4. Okay. Now I'm going to do sensor setup. We're going to choose standard mode. Now it's going to go ahead and adjust the brightness and focus of the camera. So we can see that it's not in position. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and manually adjust the camera, and then I'll come back. All right, so I'm done there. Now what I'm going to do is click on brightness/focus adjustment. I'm going to hit automatic brightness adjustment. I'm going to hit focus adjustment. All right, technically I probably should have done that first. Now let me go back and rerun this just to make sure that we're looking good. All right, so that's still the same. And we can see here that the image is in focus. For lighting, this all looks good to me. We have a couple more options here. So one is going to be smart image optimization. The other is going to be trigger options. So this is where you can specify how fast you want the program to run ideally. So for me right now, this is every 50 milliseconds the program is going to run. And then we have extend functions, a couple more things you can play around with here. Click on step 2. Now we have to register a master image. I'm going to go ahead and register that. All right. Step 3. Once it loads, there we go. So step 3, this is where we're actually going to add the tools to our program. So I'm going to click add tool. All right, so this first tool is called learning. And with learning, what you're going to do is you're going to give it some good images and some bad images. And what it's going to do is learn to discriminate between those two classes, the good and the bad. So that given a new image, it's going to be able to determine whether or not it's a good or bad part. Next up is outline. Outline is going to be looking at the outline features of the part. Color tool is going to be looking at the color of the part, determine whether or not the current part that's being shown has appropriate colors. Position adjustment is going to be about the orientation of the part. Width is going to be how wide the part is. And then diameter will be the diameter of the part. Edge is going to be looking at the number of edges on a part. Pitch will be looking at the different spacings within a part and the associations between different points on that part. I'm going to go and skip this one. All right. OCR, this is going to be about alphanumerical characters. So you're going to be looking at numbers and letters and being able to see those on a part. Next, we got edge pixels. So with this one, we're going to be looking at the number of pixels around an edge. Color prohibit is making sure that a certain color isn't within a certain zone on a part. And then blob count is about the number of objects within an image that are of the same color, which is considered a blob. So hit OK. Now going back to outline, I'm going to choose this. I'm going to click OK. So now what we're going to do is choose the region of interest. So for me, it's going to be this area. Cool. Now we can also choose a circle to define the window that we want to look at. For search range, I'm going to choose the entire window. And then sensitivity. Yeah, that looks better. All right, we're going to choose low sensitivity. And then limit adjustment is going to be about the confidence that a new image matches the image that we created the program against. So in this case, we're saying that a new image is at least 70% the same as the original image that we were looking at. So I'm going to hit OK. All right, so we have this tool now, and what I'm going to do is click Next Step. Output assignment, this is going to be about integrations with different things. So I think this could be a whole video in and of itself, so I won't go in depth, although this is going to be about PLC integrations, and you could even go one step further and do integrations with an FTP server or other things so you can actually get these images off the Keyence camera. And I'm going to hit complete, and I'll hit yes. So we're back on the main page. I'm going to go ahead and click in run mode, and what this is going to do is it's actually going to run that program that we just created. So we can see now, since the object that the Keyence camera is taking a picture of hasn't changed, the confidence of the outline is really high. So right now it's saying that this is 99% an okay part. And we can see this chart here where we have that part with 99% confidence, increasing the number of images that we've seen. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is artificially create a defect in the form of just covering up some of those letters, which is going to change the outline that the camera is seeing. All right, so we saw there that as I was covering up different letters in the word rubble flow, that the confidence that it was an okay part was decreasing. So at first I covered a little bit, then more, and eventually went from okay to not good. So that's that. A couple more things that I want to highlight here in the software. So if we go to advanced settings, and then we click on image/result output. I actually got to go back to program mode. Reason I have to do that is when it's running, you can't change the configuration of it. So you have to go back into program mode. Now I'm going to click on advanced settings. I'm going to go to image/result output. So this is a really interesting feature to me because it allows you to take the images that you're getting off the Keyence camera and store them so that you can use them in different ways. So for example, maybe you want to save the images to an SD card. Click OK. And what you could do with that is you could save all those images that you're collecting of the parts that are running on your production line and allow manufacturing engineers or someone like that to review them later. So that would be one option. Now another one is you can choose an FTP server. So at RoboFlow, this is something that we often use with our customers. And with an FTP server, you can essentially stream images from the Keyence camera to a server. And then from that server, you can do additional processing. So at RoboFlow, we build computer vision models, and we have a whole platform that's built around doing that. And so when we stream images out of a Keyence camera, what we can do is then train a model using those images, and then also use them to run on a model that we've already trained. And so we can do that in production using this FTP server. So there's a couple more parameters here. For the FTP server, you can specify the address of it. There's some more settings here that you can mess around with, such as the file format. And then also you can specify when you actually want to send those images. So right now we're transferring all images, although you can choose images depending on certain tools or different statuses being true. So I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to hit OK again. Cool. So that's about it. That's a look at how to set up a Keyence camera from start to finish.